So you're thinking about buying a home, but you're not sure whether you should go with a new build home or if you should go with a resale home. Well, before you sign any contracts, tour any model homes, or fall in love with that backsplash, let's do this. Let's talk about the real pros and cons of both, because the truth of the matter is, one might cost you more than you think, while the other could come with some unexpected benefits. Oh, and be sure to stick around, because the last factor that we're going to cover here is something that most buyers don't usually consider until it's too late. Before we jump into this though, the pros and cons of both options, let's just make sure that we're on the same page here and go ahead and define what exactly is a new construction home or a new build home, and what is a resale home. Okay, so a new construction home, that's a brand new home, typically built within the last year or so, or it could still be in the process of being built, but either way, you are the first owner of the house. Typically, you're going to be part of a new housing development. Whereas a resale home, this is a home that's been previously owned, could have been a year old, could be 20 years old, could be 100 years old, but either way, these are homes that someone else has owned and now they're selling it. Okay, so with that said, let's go ahead and get started on the advantages and disadvantages of both options, starting with the new construction home. Sorry, real quick, before we do get into that, if this is your first time here, my name's Jose and I am your SoCal Realtor. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, don't hesitate to reach out. My team and I, we've helped many people just like you, and we're here and ready to help you with your next move too. But enough about that, let's go ahead and get back to the video. Okay, so the first pro, and honestly this one's probably an obvious pro, and that's the fact that everything's brand new, right? The plumbing, the electrical, the roof, the heating, the AC, the appliances, literally everything's brand new. And not only is it exciting to be the first to use and enjoy everything about the house, but with everything brand new, you're typically going to have, or I should say, potentially should have. You potentially should have lower repair costs in those first few years because, again, everything's brand new. So, I mean, they shouldn't have any repair needs right away. Another pro with new construction homes are the warranties that you get, because they do come with warranties that will cover the house for anywhere from 1 to as long as 10 years. It varies depending on the different parts of the house. I mean, some might have longer coverage periods than other parts. So while it's all brand new and you shouldn't have any repair needs right away, but if it does, with those warranties, you're covered in those first few years.
I got it covered.
Another pro with a new construction home is the energy efficiency, because they're usually built with better insulation, oftentimes with dual pane windows, with modern energy codes that all lead to, well, helping to lower your utility bills, which is great here in Southern California, where the cooling costs in the summer can get pretty high. Another pro with new construction homes is that they usually come with incentives. Yeah, this is another one that you probably were already aware of. But builders, they usually do offer different perks, such as they might offer a credit to help you lower your closing costs or to reduce your interest rate, or I've seen some that, they have different appliance packages. Of course, all of these incentives are only if you use their lender. Another pro is the opportunity for customizing your home. Not necessarily every time, but depending on the stage that they're in the construction of your home, I mean, you might be able to choose different flooring, different countertops, maybe different cabinets. In fact, these customizations, it's not uncommon for these to be part of the incentive package that the builder offers. However, there are a few cons, or maybe better put, things that you should be aware of when it comes to purchasing a new construction home, such as number one, the final sales price. Yeah, it's almost never going to be the price that you see on that billboard. When you start factoring in things like upgrades, lot premiums, or any other additional add-ons, that sales price will go up. Another con is that many new construction homes, they tend to typically have smaller lots than many resale homes, especially older resale homes. Not to mention that most new construction homes today are part of an HOA. That while there's benefits and incentives to the HOA, however, they do come with monthly dues and rules. Another is the potential for timeline delays, meaning if you're buying a home that has not already been built yet, then yeah, delays, they could happen. And they could happen for any number of reasons. I mean, it could happen because of the weather. It could happen because of delays in getting the materials in. It could be, delays due to the inspections. The point though is that if there are any delays, then it could create a gap in your moving plans. Another con, the location.
It sucks.
Okay, that might be a little dramatic. I didn't say they're built in a swamp, but The truth of the matter is, though, new construction homes are typically built a little bit further away from city centers, which could mean a little extra commute time to do things like shopping, go into work, or just things like that. Also, with a new construction home, you don't typically tend to have as much negotiation power. Unlike with a resale home, builders, they usually have things pretty set. I'm not saying that there's no negotiating opportunities. I mean, there are certainly some things that you may be able to negotiate on. What I mean, though, is just that generally speaking, builders, they're usually not going to budge on the price. With resale homes, you're going to have a few pros and cons also that are not generally going to be part of a new construction home, such as, for instance, pros. One of the pros with a resale home is that they're usually going to be in a more established neighborhood, which means that you're going to usually have things like trees that provide nice shade in the summer, parks in the neighborhood. It's just that they're usually going to offer neighborhoods that are more established. Also, when shopping for a resale home, you're typically going to have more options. I don't mean when it comes to customizing the house. What I mean by that, though, is that when it comes to buying a resale home, you're going to have a wide range of options when it comes to styles and sizes and prices to choose from. I mean, you could choose from 100 different homes, unlike with a builder who might only have 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 different models for you to choose from. Another big advantage to resale homes, and we actually kind of hit on this one just a second ago, and that is that they typically have a larger lot. Many older homes here in Southern California, or here in the Inland Empire more specifically, but many older homes compared to a new construction home, they tend to have a larger lot, which means that's more room for you for RV parking or more room for gardening or maybe just more room for entertaining.
It's so big.
Let's not get carried away, but yes, with resale homes, you do tend to typically have a larger lot than a lot of new construction homes. And the older the resale home is, honestly, a lot of times those are even bigger lots. This is a pro that's pretty great, and that is the advertised sales price that you see for a resale home is, well, it's pretty much what you see is what you get. There's nothing added on, there's no upgrade add-ons or lot premium add-ons or anything else that gets added on to that advertised sales price. Not to mention there's the opportunity to negotiate on the sales price. Now, of course, your negotiating power, I mean, it does kind of depend on what's going on with the market, but generally speaking anyway, you have a little bit more flexibility to negotiate on things like price and terms, which are things that you rarely are going to have with a builder. Here's a great pro with buying a resale home. They're move-in ready. You're not waiting 3 or sometimes even as much as 9 months for the construction of your new home to be finished. A resale home's already there. I mean, there's no waiting. You just close escrow and go get ready to move in. However, resale homes, they do have some cons too, such as for instance, with a resale home, they tend to have more maintenance issues. And sure, I mean, maybe the previous owner, maybe they recently replaced the AC unit or maybe they recently replaced the roof. Let's be honest though, I mean, they didn't replace everything. Just the bottom line is it's not a brand new home. Another con is resale homes, especially older homes, can be less energy efficient. And sure, again, maybe the previous owner did some updates. Maybe they upgraded to more energy efficient windows or maybe they upgraded the insulation. But generally speaking, in a resale home as a whole, being able to compare to a new construction home in the area of energy efficiency, it's not likely to be the same. And because of that, you could have higher utility costs. Not to mention new construction homes, they come standard with solar, which is also going to help with those utility bills. Another with resale homes is you have competition. However, this is another one that does depend on what's going on with the market. But if you have a well-priced house and just a decent housing market, it's not out of the question to think that you could have another buyer that makes an offer on that same house. And if that happens, well, now you're in that whole multiple offer situation, which means we're about to find out who wants that house more. Something you don't deal with when it comes to new construction. Another con with resale homes is that they may not have as many modern features, such as, for instance, they might not have an open floor plan or an open kitchen, or maybe they have the old popcorn ceilings, things that you don't find with a new construction home. It's just that with resale homes, I mean, some might fit the bill perfectly, be exactly what you're looking for, while others might not be so, we'll just say HGTV ready. And if it's not, but that's what you're looking for, the HGTV home, well, if you do decide to go forward and purchase that home, well, that's an extra cost, an extra renovation cost that you're going to have after buying that home. Now, which one's better, meaning which one carries more weight, the pros for the new construction home or the pros for the resale home? The truth is, really depends on you. Meaning if you want a brand new energy efficient home with low maintenance, all the modern features, don't mind the HOA, and if needed, you could wait a few months. Then for you, well, a new construction home might actually be the best bet. But if you want a bigger yard, prefer mature trees, or a neighborhood that already has established character, or maybe you want to be in a specific neighborhood or school district, then for you, a resale home might actually make more sense. Oh, what is the factor that I mentioned back at the beginning of this video that I said most buyers tend to overlook? Personal representation. Because if you walk into a new home community without your own agent, who do you think that on-site salesperson's really working for? Yeah, the builder, not you. I'm not saying that they're gonna try to take advantage of you or do you wrong. I'm just saying that they're not likely to negotiate for you or recommend anything for you that could work against their employer, the builder. But having your own agent, your own representation can make a difference because, listen, a good agent will first and foremost negotiate on your behalf. They'll help you with reviewing the contract from the builder. They'll walk you through the timeline of the building process, and they'll make sure you're not overpaying for any upgrades that you may not need. And the best part, the builder pays your agent's commission, not you, at least in most cases anyway. I mean, sure, there are a few rare exceptions to that, but in most cases, the builder will pay your agent's commission for you. And no, before you ask, the builders will not lower the sales price just because you don't have your own agent. In fact, actually, in their eyes, that's just money they get to save. So if you are thinking about buying a new construction home, don't go it alone. Have representation, especially if the builders are offering to pay your agent's commission. Have representation. Just be sure that you do have your agent with you the very first time you go to see any of their model homes, because if you don't, most builders are not likely to let you bring your own agent later. Of course, if you do have any questions or if you are thinking about buying or selling a home, whether it's new construction or not, my contact information is below. Feel free to reach out. Otherwise, until then, catch you on the next one.